Very good morning to all at once again, and we have a very nice panel here. We are 5 people in this panel, and 4 of us directly or indirectly related to elephant conservation, and the 5th one is from a corporate sector, and very well he can judge us whether we are doing our jobs well or not, and also how he can help us in performing our duties for elephant conservation. Elephant is Lord Ganesha in Indian context, and irony is today we are sitting here to discuss about his survival. That's the point. We call it Lord Ganesha, but we are discussing here the survival of our God. So, but I wish we'll just discuss it, and then we'll get nice inputs and suggestions from our panel members. And just to set the stage on fire, may I request the first video? It's a very small video clip. Just to play the video clip. Just first video clip. Because just I want to instigate all the panel members. So you saw, okay, that's all. You saw a group of elephants swimming in the river Balipara. It's a very nice looking video. Many of you must have seen this video in WhatsApp or Facebook or in social media. How many of you have seen this video earlier? Okay, at least some people have seen this. It's a very nice looking video, but the story behind it is not good. They are homeless elephants. We have forced them to live in a river island of Brahmaputra, Majuli and its surrounding areas. In this particular video, they are trying to reach the south bank. For the 3 days, they were just taking rest in a nearby river island near Jorat to come to south bank, but we never allowed them. But ultimately, on the 3rd day, they had to swim because they know they cannot be there in the small river island. It is a month of June and water were rising, so they have to come. Despite having all this protest from the people or so many things, they had to cross this river. So that's the story. They don't have a home to live. That is the first video. And then can I request the play the second video? Sorry for the music. Thank you. So this is again a video from a small village of Golaghat district. You can see how people and elephants there living in harmony. You can see the lady doing her regular jobs in her home, and elephants are just crossing. Here there is no disturbance. And can I have the third video, please? This video was taken very recently from Assam. Just a couple of months back, I took this video. Okay, that's all. Just to provoke my panelists. I just showed these three video of three situations. And now I want to ask one question. I'll start with Parmasri Gopal Sharma sir, and then Manika, and then I'll come to you first. Are we doing our job to protect elephant habitat? Gopal Sharma sir.
Thank you, my friend Rathim and all the panelists and the audience today. Actually, the films or small videos that Rathim has shown, two first videos we have seen already, and these videos do not provoke me. They make me sad, depressed. Being a person from Assam and working for elephants for last 40 years. When I started my career, I'm a veterinarian, but I also do other like welfare or conservation work. The fate of elephants in Assam in particular really makes me depressed, to be honest. See, we all know the status of elephant in India. We have 27,800 wild elephants. Out of that, around 6,000 are available in Assam, and more than Assam, only Karnataka has few more elephants. But like P.D. Stacy in his book Elephant Goal said that if elephants survive somewhere, they will survive in Assam because of the accommodative behavior of our elephants. In my life, I have seen that elephant has come and damaged the paddy fields of some farmer. We go and to sympathize or give some incentive to them. Then they say, look up, and I must have done something wrong. That is why Lord Ganesha has given me this punishment. So he takes the responsibility to himself. But in front of my own eyes, in last say 25 years, the attitude of farmers are changing. Now they are ready to throw, hot iron rods to harm the elephants and many other such damaging things that the people have started doing. So basically, the reason is it is competition for survival. We have allowed the population to grow exponentially. Assam is a fragile landscape. It cannot accommodate so many people. People have come from everywhere looking at its fertile soil for cultivation. But basically, this has disturbed because at the time of independence, we had only 30, at 1826 when Yandabu Treaty was signed. The entire northeastern region was Assam, and we had only 30 lakh people. Now, after so many states have gone from Assam, the small Assam, we have 3 crore people. So you can imagine the pressure on the land. Basically, it is competition for space. So we are competing, elephants are competing with us. They are mega herbivores. They need a lot of food. Every adult elephant requires at least 250 to 300 kg food, fodder, and a lot of water. Water still available in Assam. It will remain available if something that doesn't happen in Tibet. But the vegetation we are really losing. Habitat we are really losing. People are encroaching for farming activity mostly. Many protected areas have been transferred to tea cultivation, private tea farming, and many other all these things. So basically, we have not given space for the elephant, and we have come to a situation like this, which is really very depressing. So that is what my first.
Yeah. So I will come back to you, sir, for other insight. And Manika, are we doing our job well?
Yes, Dr. Burman. Actually, I have seen all these videos on my WhatsApp, and trust me, every day I get one video like this, my heart first stops, thinking, okay, now what happened? What do we have to do? Because I am fortunate enough to work in the elephant habitat areas, and that too in the capital city of Guwahati. So, on as the forest department, we see my staff works 16 hours continuously on duty just behind this hotel in the area of Panjabari for only to drive back the elephants to the forested areas. But still, we see the elephants, at least some of them, they are not in the forest. They are always outside. Now, what is the reason for this? Firstly, their habitat is fragmented, and secondly, there is encroachment of the forested areas. Then we see degradation of the forest. In fact, like on my very first day of posting in Assam, because I come from a state which had no elephants, so I never really knew the magnanimity of the issue. On the very first day, a farmer met me and he had said, not even one grain of paddy is left for him to harvest. Everything has been damaged. So, when I kind of got to the bottom of the issue, I realized the issue is not the elephants. It is the people. It is us who have failed in protecting their habitat. So I think now, like most of the habitat is lost. At least for their survival, we need to take steps at an alarming pace.
Okay, thank you, Manika. So now coming to you in a Thailand experience.
Thailand.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much, and yeah, also thank you for Balipara Foundation to invite me to join this meeting, which is really fantastic to see many people try to save the world and try to save the environment, especially for a third pole around this area. So I'm as the lecturer, as a professor in Chiang Mai University, working for a long time with elephants, as well as working in elephant reintroduction, and also with Asian member of Asian Elephant Specialist Group together with Professor KK Samara. So we have known quite a lot of people working with elephant, especially human-elephant conflict, which is quite a big group. But we have seen for the video, one thing I am happy because I see the elephant walk past to the villagers and they okay, just walk past, no problem at all. I'm happy because in Thailand, people tend to be frustrated when they found the elephant walk past. They what to do with this one. That's kind of thing that would be something good. So just come first for the Elephant Reintroduction Foundation. So we have started since 1997 and until now we have released around 108 elephants back to the wild. This is captive elephant raised from the human, raised by human, captive born. And then after that, from more than 20 years, right now we have more than 45 calves born naturally in the wild. But since the beginning, in that time, we can see the forest, which is much better, much improved, especially for the ecology. Because if you see like elephant, they are the umbrella species, keystone species, iconic species. So that's kind of thing. And then after that, when in the past, 20 or 30 years ago, the forest degradation quite a lot. Because people, the villagers also go to the enter the forest, hunt, cutting the tree, finding some of the wildlife. But then later, when the elephant comes, so people tend to, okay, we are afraid of elephants. That could be both good and bad advantage. But then later on, after from time to time, we can see the forest much increased, much better because elephant they also as a seed dispersers and also for the something like an ecological shape, like a mega engineering, and then we can see much improved by that one. So this kind of thing, to have the elephant inside in that area, elephant will help to protect like a forest guardian and also try to make a ecology, make the forest better. Okay, that's one thing. That's my feeling for that one, for the first one.
Thank you. Now coming to you, you are sitting the other side of the table. We all four are related with elephant conservation, and you are sitting just other side of the table, just to see whether we are doing our job well.
Well, I'm not here to see which side of the table, but in a lot of ways we are the same side of the table. Let's start with this. No, I think, look, first, I'm absolutely delighted to be here in terms of, all experts here on my left-hand side and learning from the perspectives that have been carried with so many years of experience. Now, I would like to take the focus on a discussion from 2-3 lenses. One is as a company, as company that has operations, and what is our responsibility, and how do we see this issue to be, right? And we don't have experience of.
Sorry, that was my next question.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, I'll mix it and I'll maybe
please
take that in the same sequence. So our experience largely is coming from our operations in the state of Odisha, and we don't have operations in Assam, but we're learning as we're talking. But we run a program in Odisha called Gaja Sanrakshana, which is it's a program that we run along with the state government of Odisha. And some facts is while the population per se may be not in the same as Dr. Sharma is mentioning, but the square kilometer density of elephants is the highest in Odisha. Now, we take this in terms of multiple steps from a corporate response point of view. One, of course, is we are a distribution utility company. Working happening on making the infrastructure so that the accidents don't happen, right? Electrocution does not happen. Our conductors are right. There is sagging of lines. We don't necessarily come into the elephant corridor, right? That is one institutional action. But I think the bigger and the most, let me put it this way, the most difficult aspect, all of you which covered, is the human-animal conflict. Now, even if you see the statistics, and I can only quote at the moment with Odisha numbers, if you see last, I think 3 to 4 years, there is 56 deaths, 10 are natural. Out of 46, 20 are out of electrocution. But the dangerous statistics is 18 of them are voluntary, deliberate electrocution.
That's very common in Assam.
Which is, you have deliberately almost have made provision that it's deliberate. And it's almost again the law of the land, we know that it's almost illegal, right? Both by way of the way that it is done and of course there is the intentionality of it. Now the core of it is, and we have understood, and again this is a little bit, I'm sure all of you may deliberate this, is the perception of being from an elephant god to now a direct conflict. So everybody has a conflictory position vis-a-vis elephant, right? Now that is the heart of the issue. So we are working from a community action also, is that how can we create the coexistence? And again, this video is amazing. I think maybe it's like an end state for us to achieve in a lot of ways. Is how do we enable that? Protecting habitats, if there is an awareness issue, and if there is a potential conflict, how do we enable it through some structural mechanism? So I think that would be the way, and maybe I will delve into some of these areas.
Yeah, so that's what I personally do not like the word conflict. That's why I showed the second video. So actually it is human-elephant interaction. There will be positive interaction, there will be negative interaction. And in the two videos you have seen, the first is the negative interaction. We have destroyed their home and we disturb them, we force them to cross the river Brahmaputra. And second video, there are interactions, but it's peaceful. But the problem is the negative interaction. But I am optimistic, and I believe all of us are sitting in this hall are optimistic. That's why we are discussing this issue. So now coming to my next question, sir, based on your last 30 plus years experience, what should we do? Just give us some light.
Yeah, that is the biggest question. And the problem is so big, solution cannot be so small. It has to be a very radical change in the outlook of the society. That means the political fraternity, because it is a political solution. Ultimately, in political level solution has to be found, and the forest department will execute. They are always ready, but their hands are tied. They cannot do. Like Madam mentioned about Ramsang Wildlife Sanctuary just next to us. So the exact statistics of the elephant may not be known, but around 70,
40.
around 40 elephants were there. Many elephants died also, and this area has become landlocked because elephants they migrate. Their wisdom teach them to migrate, to go from one place to another in search of food and other essentials, because they know if they stay in one place, that will become a desert because of their heavy demand on resources. So they move, but we stop their all ways that they can move out. And to aid solve to like this injury, what we are doing, we are allowing people to settle. Like, I don't know the statistics, but I also live just next to this place. Our campus is just next to this. And when we were students, undergraduate students in 1978, so we used to see elephant herd coming to our hostel. To our hostel, 60, 70 elephants come, they graze behind our hostel, and from the window or even from the veranda, we look at them. And see, in this period, what has happened? Massive settlement has taken place. So we are arguing whether this belongs to Amchang Wildlife Sanctuary or not. Even that type of situation also arises. The thing is there, we go and sit in the State Wildlife Advisory Board. So the line, somebody says, this is not Amchang. If it is not Amchang, to whom it belongs? Who is the owner of that? Because see, basically we have caused the disturbance, and thousands of people have settled from every area. And these are maybe farmers or like destabilized people who had to leave their home. But I think there are two universities. There are hospitals, there are central security force establishment. Huge campuses have been spring in our protected area, which is supposed to be belonging to elephants. Now we are talking about elephants because elephant is the umbrella species, as Dr. Titharam has mentioned. But it is called umbrella because it gives protection to every other smaller or bigger species, and ecosystem is maintained in the forest. But unfortunately, because elephants are big and you just cannot kill them by beating, they are still surviving. Most of the other animals have gone. In this area, I have seen such a big biodiversity. When I mentioned my college days, every animal, including tiger, was here. Leopard and barking deer, hawk deer, and many other species. Very rare species also we have seen. Now everything is gone. And nobody cries for them. Nobody laments for them. The elephants are there. We are talking about elephants because they are visible, they are Ganesha. Other species have gone. So the situation has to be like, as my main his question was, how can we reverse this?
Exactly.
The only thing is, the question itself is there, that habitat. We have to give them space. It is competition for space. If we compete for space with elephants, the elephants will suffer, conflict will grow. So we have to respect the requirement of space by the elephant. If you see whole of the North Bank in foothills of Arunachal Pradesh and Bhutan, massive encroachment from western side Terai to up to China. This was undisturbed habitat for elephant. They used to migrate, annual migration, and then all those things. We have not allowed them space. So we have to think out of the box. We have to think for giving them back their space. But even in that situation also, suppose I am talking an utopian solution that we will give them the space back, but already we have spoiled their habit. So now they are not happy with roti. They have tasted cake. They sugar cane and maize and paddy, everything they have tasted. Even some very welfare-minded people, they have started cultivating paddy for elephants.
Is that good?
It is very bad because you are teaching the elephant to eat what is forbidden for them. If paddy is allowed, they will, what they will think. Right now, when they descend on paddy field, they are scared. Fatafat kuch khate bhago, because the farmers will
Now
object.
we'll
Now
come.
we are inviting them to paddy field in some area. Like, tell me how many years the paddy will be there in the field? 1 month. Baki 11 months, what they will have? And this is not a solution. You are only spoiling their behavior. But I don't say that these people really, probably it's a lack of knowledge that they are what doing, because elephants are very intelligent animal, and you don't spoil their behavior.
Okay, Sarma sir, and I have to come back to Monica again. And before I just go to Monica, I'll just tell the audience, in last 3 years in Assam, 272 people were killed by elephants and 171 elephants were killed by humans. But in the number game, probably elephants is doing better, so we just cannot fight a war with elephants. Just in a lighter note. Coming back to Monica again. So you are sitting in a government system. You are a responsible officer. What is your take? What should you do to reverse the situation?
Dr. Burman, I represent the government, but also I come from that department which is seen as anti-development, anti-government initiatives. So yes, what should we do? The question, for that answer, I think it should be a many-fold approach. First, let's talk about from the fringe communities that are living near the forest. So for them, again, it's the agriculture, it's the livelihood issue. So yes, alternate livelihood, yes, we can say, but putting it into practice, bringing them the actual livelihood opportunities is still a challenge. So that is something, not just one department or something, but everybody should look into it. Then secondly, it is the kind of development that is happening, be it the corporates or be it several user agencies or even be it the political will here. So it is the kind of development. For example, something new that has come up is the green infrastructure, the mitigating structures that is happening. But from what I have been seeing from my personal experience, and these are my personal views, I think the mitigating structures are in fact causing greater damage to the habitats. So now it has become a way where you can fragment a forest, you can create a linear infrastructure just by creating elephant cops, like underpasses for the elephants. But what we are not seeing is that is in fact, it is destroying the forest first. It is bringing in some alien elements into the forest. And it is the greenery, the green cover of the earth, that is something that is being lost forever. And you are creating mitigating infrastructures or underpasses for the elephants, but where do they go when there is no habitat? So this is something I think they have to be educated by not just us, we have been trying to educate, but I think the NGOs and the corporates who are actually working for the environment, this is something that has to be, they have to be educated about. And the rest, it is all, I think, education and awareness is something really important. I think the narrative should change. It should not be about habitats for elephants, but it should be about saving the entire ecosystem for the future generations.
Okay, just taking a note from Monica. It's basically development, and which is basically destroying our greeneries. I personally feel we probably have to redefine the word development. What is development? Having a big road or having a high-rise building and having no air to breathe is development? That's Delhi today. You have all good things in Delhi, but you don't have air to breathe. Is that development? Or a person sitting in remote areas of villages, he doesn't have internet, doesn't have a good road, but he has the basic things. Is that development? So probably we need to redefine the word development. So coming to you, sir, what's again the same question? What we should do to reverse this situation?
Yeah. First, I would like to thank for you that you first call the young people, the students, to come in this room, because you are our future, because you will work from you. If you have one thing I would like to point out, that is the knowledge. So first thing, because several people around the world, they don't have the knowledge about elephants, what is their biology, what is their like a behavior, how to live together with elephants, and especially for the habitat, their ecology, and how to stay together with the elephant. So when you come, if you have a knowledge, and then after that you can expand this kind of knowledge to your younger brother, younger sister, or even though you grow up, you have a family, that you tell the story of the elephant to your kids, and then this is the hope, the future for you. Because in the future, and then after that, we don't know much, we cannot predict for the future, but we hope that we try to save the habitat, the ecology, and then after that, that will be habitat for elephant as well, that they can stay together and with a coexistence to the human. Yeah, I'm glad for that one. Because yesterday we went to Guwahati University. There were around 250 students coming to join and listen to our talk. So that is great that you come and you listen to us. Yeah. One more thing, because I also work in a remote area in some place in the Elephant Reintroduction Foundation. This is not the tame one. After they rewild and back to the forest, when at the first generation, okay, we can call them, we can write them, we can capture them, we can touch them. But at the second generation and the third generation, when they grow up, they more aggressive and try to run away from our group. So we have to teach the villagers and educate them how to live together with elephants. Otherwise, it's similar thing to the around the world for the human-elephant conflict will occur. So people die, elephant die. That will be something like a cycle, like a loop that happen and again and again and again. And we don't want to see that kind of thing. Yeah. So we want to protect both elephants and the habitat. Yeah. For
Okay.
this.
So my last question, because I want to go back to the audience after this round. I'll start with you this time. And in Indian context, the ultimate call is taken by politicians. And generally they go by their own wisdom. They do not consult expert in many cases. So it's a little controversial statement, but again I would like to repeat that. They generally go by their own wisdom. So this should be done, this should not be done. So how to convince our decision-making systems, the top-level politicians in this system? I'll start with you.
I somehow have a little contrarian view, in that I think somewhere, and when we operate in certain states, we are not finding that we are running against up the wall when we are doing things. So in a lot of ways, the problem is well understood, right? And if you see, every regulations are all on the paper. They are, and you see all the acts, even the Electricity Act, from the point of view when we see, there are very punitive provisions, and it's been there not one for many years. One can argue why they are not effective. Okay, that is another. So enforcement is something that we need to start looking at. On paper, my personal view is that the framework is there. Now, when we talk about politicians, I think somewhere we will have to again go back to what Monica was alluding to. The issue is, we have to also look at livelihoods as well. Now, we cannot solve the problem. Now, this is a very complex problem. This cannot have one unidimensional approach. It's like many paths to heaven, right? So we have to address the livelihood issue. We definitely have to do the awareness issue, and this is like maybe some foundation. We all together. There's a young, students are here. It is absolutely the awareness issue as well. The third is, I think there is an opportunity for us to use education in a big way and also technology. Look, I think we will have to, I would also nuance what you said, development. I think development as its existing definition. Development we need. I think we cannot run away from it. Look, the country will need to grow, right? Because that is we can't negotiate with that. It's not, again, I go back to it, it's not an or question, it's an and question. And can we, in the spirit of saying yes, we can solve it. Come together to solve it. Now, I think that is the way we will have to approach it. It's multiple lenses. Now, as from a corporate point of view, and I think there is a lot of, I think the corporates are ready. I am not, I think you see large parts of the corporate world is ready. They require the framework of partnership. I think that is where I think we all have to come together. It is the academia, it is the corporate, it is the institution, and these are experts, and overlay is the state and the central government. I think all have to come together. It's a very big problem. No one can solve it.
Okay. Sharma sir, same question. How to get politicians, how to convince them and to reverse the situation. In many situations we see the politicians take their own call and it's okay, elephants, forget about it, let's do the road here in the forest. Something like that. How to convince them that elephant is also...
What I remember when you said this, I remember a quote by Billy Arjun Singh. He said that give the animals voting power, there will be protection. Now, voting power is to us only, so nobody cares for the animal. So now, it is the community will have to decide what we finally want. Because what the people, once politicians will do that, probably we have failed to guide our community that just having a car, having a building is not development. We have to survive for a long time. Our subsequent generations will have to survive. So what we give to them, to our next generation or subsequent generation, the community will have to think that. And when community decide that we will keep this country green, so far as the protected areas are concerned, we will not compromise. We will not give them to anybody. The green areas, protected areas will be there, and even the community will come forward for its protection. That is not happening. So I just don't blame the community. We should blame ourselves that we have not actually given that leadership to the community. I have experience of working with community. Some of my friends with whom I have worked in Udalguri district, I remember by studying the integrity of those areas, I have suggested one thing: community elephant refuge. People didn't accept. Some of the corporates have accepted it. In that we will create some haven for the elephants, where there will be a core area of 12 months supply of water, and around that there will be vegetation that are consumed by elephants. This will be small island, not a big habitat. But when the elephants come down from the hills, they can get something to eat. They get some place to relax or deliver their babies and stay for 2 days. Now they deliver their babies in the tea garden, and nobody allowed them to rest there. Stones are pelted on them and they have to leave their babies, and it's a pathetic condition. So those community, but basically it should be a community initiative. And so I blame on lack of leadership, because we don't have vision for future. We are just living for today. That will have to be changed. So basically, when the outlook will change, things will automatically have changed.
Thank you so much, sir. Just in a wild area, just the half an hour back we are discussing we are discussing the policy framework of the things. So can we relate or can we just devise a framework where for our electoral system where we can connect with the depletion of natural resources? If at that particular area the natural resource is going down, then that particular politicians or decision makers will get some negative marks that may be added in his total secured vote thing, something like that, so that his so
I agree with it. Basically, we never have any green agenda or elections.
Some evaluation system.
We never ask the political parties that we want our greeneries back.
Yeah.
We only want different things, money and loan waiver and this and that. We never ask for So people are also not asking.
Yeah.
So basically, it is also the blame on ourselves.
Coming back to Monica again. You face this problem very often because your top bosses are politicians. I have seen it personally. And because what you feel that it should be done, they just straight away say, no, it should not be done. But as a field manager, you know that is the most important thing. How to convince those people?
I agree with Dr. K.K. Sharma sir here because see, as you all seen, our bosses basically they work based on the will of the people, according to what the people want. So I think it is the people's movement, like our Honorable Prime Minister has said several times, Jan Andolan for several other issues. So this is something which is clearly lacking, where the people have never asked for something for environment protection. There has never been a people's movement, something which we have seen late in the 1970s. That is all. After that, we not even Narmada Bachao Andolan is okay. After that, we have not seen anything. So unless it comes from the people, it is quite difficult. So it is the people who has to move.
Okay, so you have probably heard about it. Basically, we are talking about Indian experience. So what about you? Is the Thailand also the same?
Yeah, like a similar thing. I think politicians around the world will do the same. Yeah, try to think about some of the financial economics issue. Yeah, but something in Thailand for the environment, for the ecology and the forest. Okay, the same thing. Like they try to wipe away through, try to do some like infrastructure or destroy the forest. But for elephants, that is one thing that probably Thailand is better than any other several countries, because for elephant in Thailand is a symbol of the nation and also related to the Buddha and also related to the royal family. So when the human elephant conflict occur, so the parliament, the government, they try to set up the specific committee, try to help the villagers, try to work on the human elephant conflict. That would really help. But as you know, that is not easy solution. We have to work for a long time. Like I have been in the elephant community for 20-30 years and have worked for the human elephant conflicts for 20-30 years or so, and never no one solution. Yeah.
Okay, just again, it's the last question. One sentence, just one sentence. How do you see elephants in next 25 years?
Okay, I'm a die-hard optimist, so I will always give, I think like this. So I would say that, look, we would have cracked this issue, we would have redefined development, we would have redefined the way that we coexist with them, and as much as possible, both habitats will come back.
Okay, sir, how do you see elephants in next 25 years?
God will remain.
Exactly. That should be a Monica. Same question.
I don't think I have an answer for that.
You don't have any answer for that. Okay, that also has to be not a new generation people. Sir is spending probably last 30 plus years, and Monica is just maybe 10 years, 5 years. So, and
I think it's in your hand for all of the people in this
exactly.
room. In your hand. If you try to protect the elephant habitat, and then elephant will stay with you, stay with us.
Okay, so with that note, I want to go back to especially the young generations. So, if there are any questions to the panelists, yeah, can I get a mic? But as you said, it is up to you how to make the situation reverse.
First of all, I'm very. It's an honor for us to be in presence of such personalities. And so my question to you is, in the other part of the world, in Africa and some regions, we have been observing evolution in the elephant herds. That's the tusklessness that they have been developing due to the like immense pressure put upon them by the poaching. So, sir, my question is like, what are the implications that that will be going into the elephant herd due to the change of this tusklessness. And so, such kinds of are such kinds of things also can they occur in the elephants of India or in Assam in particular?
So, sir, would like to?
This is a very interesting question. Let me go back little back. If you see the elephant of the god of Devas, Indra's elephant, Airavata, he had 6 tasks. 6 tasks. Then in Ramayana elephant, there are pictures. They said at that time, the elephants had 4 tasks. Then they come down to 2 tasks. And now there are many elephants which are makhanas. They don't have tasks. What task is different? One is lost. So basically, we have many makhanas. So genetically, actually, makhnas or having no task is a dominant character genetically. So in course of time, not immediately, not in 100 or 1000 years, after several 1000 years, maybe there will be no taskers. There will be only makhanas. They are the more dominant character. So that is one. And there is genetic cause is one, but the rampant poaching for ivory is another cause. Because you remember the action of Birappan. He single-handedly killed over 1100 taskers. So naturally the sex ratio was highly skewed because in South India there were more taskers. So there were parts where there was just one male against 136 females. So fortunately we have more makhanas than taskers. If you remember that group swimming, there were hardly any taskers. And I don't see many taskers in all the herds that are now conflicting, because taskers are killed for ivory. That is the sad truth. Anyway, but for ivory we will not lose our elephant population because there will be no ivory.
So can any other evolutionary changes can also be predicted, according to
Yes,
you?
of course. The elephant is a very intelligent animal. Probably it is more intelligent than human beings, and because they have a very big brain. And I can see, I do not know whether you have seen sometimes that how the elephant that all this department or our communities just say from their habitats. Earlier we used to use crackers or blank firings or do a hula party. These days they don't care. Because they have learned all this thing. Even they have learned electric fencing now. How to break an electric fencing. They know all these things. They can learn things very well. So in the behavior part also, they are evolving.
Ratan, can I add to his question of evolution? Actually, the evolutionary changes take place according to the changes in the environment. Suppose why they have the trunk which is so long? It is only a fusion of upper lip and the nose. Right? So, because they had to, at certain period, there was not enough grass because their requirement is almost 300 kg. So, they have to go up for, breaking the branches. So, the way environment is changing, accordingly, there will be evolutionary changes also.
So, next question, you are going to add.
So I just add Julie Somo and for the pushing, one thing we can see for the mindset, elephant, people push for elephant, especially for the ivory. Yeah. So as some of the evidence, because of the mindset has been changed, especially in Japan, because normally in Japan they use something like a stamp for the hanko, they call it like that one. But later on, in the previous time, that is quite popular to use the ivory to be the hanko, which means that is really good, but now they change to be something else to replace of the ivory. But then the big market, that is China, they still use this kind of thing, or they change the mindset. So this means no market for the ivory for them to push the elephant, that kind of thing. But anyway, from time to time, they change of the from ivory to another thing. For elephant skin, we see the evidence an elephant was killed, and then after that they peel out of the skin of the elephant to make something like a small bead, and also with elephant food to make an elephant golf bag. Yeah, that kind of thing. Yeah, that happened. So the mindset for the people to think about to use elephant product, that should be changed.
So any more questions?
Good afternoon, everyone. So I have a very simple question that
Put the mic close to you.
as a student, what we can do? That is my question.
Yeah.
Question.
Question.
As a student, what we can do?
What you can do? Monica? Or as a student, you can do many things. It's elephant conservation is not a subject of elephant experts. It's a common man subject. As a student, you can raise your voice. That is number one. Number two, you can learn more about elephants. When you need to do something about something, then you have to learn more about that something. So you learn more about elephants and just raise voice. The young voice has effect, big effect. And this is the social media era. So you can do many things using social media. Okay? So, yeah.
I come from Golaghat district. So we are accustomed with the man-elephant conflicts, but we have seen this last 2-3 years huge number lengths of paddy fields are remain vacant because of this elephant problem. So now question is, the Murphulani area, the Marangi area, almost all forest or trees have been gone. So what we have to plant if you made a forest, man-made forest for the accommodation, for the restoration of the habitat, what type of trees, shrubs you will prefer to plant?
See, ma'am, elephant, they do migrate.
Yeah.
You just cannot keep them confined in one area. That's the number one. Number 2 point, taking the note from the Dr. Sharma, what says, they are huge animal. They live in herd. They need almost 300 kilos of food per day, per animal. And in one herd, big herd, maybe 20-30 animals. So you can imagine how much food they would require. So they have to move from A to B to C to D. And they do come back to A when the natural regeneration comes. But the problem today is we have blocked their path from going to A to B to C. So we have forced them to remain in say A or B or C. So in search of food or in search of going to the next block, they do come across the human habitation. We have not discussed that corridor issue here in this team, but that's the main problem. It's not only creating, you just cannot keep elephants in one area, provided you keep all their foods there. Because they know after a few days, there will be nothing to eat there. So they have to go to the B or C. So when you just cannot solve the problem of creating a forest, say 2 square kilometers or 10 square kilometers. We have to also clear the path. You have to also allow them to move to the B or C. There are many elephant food, and almost all our natural thing they do eat, except some species, all the local species. But please, as sir has said, rice or sugarcane is not a common elephant food. It's like eating cake by human. Cake is not our food, staple food. We cannot survive eating cake. So if you offer bananas or a sugarcane or a rice to the elephants, it will be exactly the same situation.
I think her question was a little different, and what she said supported my view about community elephant refuge. Actually, Golaghat area division, I have traveled extensively in connection with radio collaring, 2-3 times radio collaring on elephant, and once as a member of a steering committee for Project Elephant also, they wanted a report, and we found all the habitat that are there, actually there is nothing to support the elephant. Only say for example there is a forest called Bijuli or something. There is reserve forest that is, but there is no forest. Like there is only weed. So now to transform that again to a good habitat is nearly impossible. But nothing is impossible. if there is like people's wish, people can also pressurize the government that like if you talk about the elephant, the vegetation that the elephant use, there are over 100 varieties of vegetation available in Assam. So many, like I know Assamese names only. If some people are interested to support or those areas, like intermittently those things can be planted. Like there are bamboo, wild bamboo with big leaves, and like that. Some people go for banana, but banana cannot sustain. Once the elephant come and it will not, it is finished. But like what Rathin is insisting on, like long-term solution, which is not coming. So that is why we are also to go for short-term solution. At least when the elephants are there, they have something to eat. Otherwise, the paddy is the only solution. Now the harvesting season will be over, then they will visit house to house. Where there is oral paddy, they will break that and eat. And if they don't get, they will kill people. And many people are also brewing the local alcohol. That also invites the elephant. So those practices of people has to be so public, like what the student has said, what the students can do. Students can do these things. Like we can organize in villages, in Golaghat, if the students have an organization, they educate people not to brew alcohol. And now most of the paddy fields are barren, nobody is farming there. But there are alternative, like Assamese people only know paddy, but there are so many other varieties that we can do which will not attract the elephants. We can also go for animal husbandry practices. Golaghat is a relatively not very much affected with flood. We can also go for fisheries. So these are alternative, alternative farming. Fisheries, poultry, piggery, dairy, so many other livestock animal husbandry practices can be there where elephants will not be interested. So we can go, rather than starving and looking to the government for free ration, we can do something, and our students will have to motivate the people for that.
Sir, we have to, because
can I just 2 minutes? I just wanted to answer that question, and I think this was a very profound question. What students can do?
yeah, exactly.
And I think it requires I just want to address that. I think the one key thing is, of course, is education. Of course, is about looking at understanding the dimensions of the issue from all angles, social angle, the entire biodiversity angle, the human angle. But the youth of the country also has the responsibility to look at solutions. These are old problems, but old problems cannot be solved by old solutions. I think old problems will be solved by new solutions. And I think the responsibility, as much as anything else, is that, maybe our generation has not done a great job of handing over the planet to you. But in a lot of ways, I think it's an opportunity for all of you to work towards it. Right? Now, it is the sensible use of everything, I would say, innovation and technology. Right? I think we should find new solutions. And I think that is where I would say, going back to it, this is how students can do. And it's a large problem, and I think it's also a new generational lens problem. Yeah, that's what I just wanted to say.
Thank you all panelists, because we have to move forward. Yeah, thank you all. Thank you for, especially the students who asked the questions. Thank you.